What's up, my achievement abductors? Mayhem Blizz. We're playing Somerville for the 41000G. It's available on Xbox Game Pass, so if you got that chappy, pick this up. You can get the 41000G in around 2 hours, so let's get into it. So you know what it is by now. I've cut these long cutscenes out and I've sped up the playthrough just enough so it's not difficult to follow. Do let me know what you think of the pace of the guide, as I'm all about cutting out that sort of nonsense and saving you from slugging through a long video. So in this first introduction to the game, we're going to take control of the kid and we're going to head left. On this table is a toy. We want to interact with it with the A button to pick it up. Take it over to the right hand side, back into the living room, and you'll automatically drop it here. Press and hold the A button on this bag and then use the left stick to pull it towards you. That will create a box for us to jump over this baby gate, and then we're going to head over to the right hand side and we're going to hold the A button on this drawer, and then we're going to use the left stick to the left to pull it out, and we're going to do the same with that one. Press the A button to climb on top of those, up onto the kitchen counter, over to the window, and we're going to hold the A button again and then hold up on the left stick to open the window. So now we're going to take control of the main character, Jim Halpert, and then we're going to head over to the right hand side into the kitchen and we're going to clean up after our kid. So get yourself off the sofa, over to the right hand side. We're going to hold the A button and move the right stick to the right to push the drawers in. And then we're going to hold the A button and down on the left stick to close the window. That will get us the world's best dad achievement for cleaning up after our kid for 50 gamer score. And then we're going to head over to the left hand side and then the left again. We're going to open the door towards us and we're going to head outside and we're going to open the doghouse. So now we're going to go back inside, over to the right hand side, through the living room, into the kitchen, and now we're going to go down into the basement. Make sure the light turns on, and then we're going to pick up this dog food. And then back upstairs. There'll be a loud noise. And then we want to head back outside. So head over to this UFO, and that will initiate a cutscene. After that cutscene, we're going to head back inside our house and over to the right inside the kitchen. There's going to be a bag on the kitchen counter. Press the A button to pick that up and then head back out. So now we're going to head to our car, which is in the garage top left. Unfortunately, it gets destroyed and we need to head back to the house. We can just leave our bag on the floor there, head through the house. We're going to go to the basement and take cover in there. So over to the left hand side is a little cubby hole for us to hide in, and then there'll be a bit of a cutscene. Once this man's appeared, head towards him and interact with his hand. This will initiate another cutscene and you will gain your first ability, and we can only use these abilities when we're attached to a light source. So after that cutscene then, we need to jumpstart our body with the left trigger. Once we're up and about, we're going to head over to the right hand side. We can interact with this wooden plank and move that to the right hand side. Press and hold the A button to interact with the lamp, and then hold the left trigger as well to use your ability. That will melt the path blocking the stairway. In the kitchen then, over to the right hand side is another light for us to grab. Hold that with the A button and hold left trigger to use your ability to melt the path into the living room. Do the same to free the wardrobe and tip the wardrobe over. Use the wardrobe to exit your house. So follow the path along and you'll come across this electrical box. Hold the A button on that and then hold the left trigger to use our ability to clear the path. Press the A button on this lever and pull it to the right to get through that gate. And then keep heading left. And then what we can do is use these sort of orb friends of ours to clear some paths. So if you just stand near a path that needs to be cleared, the lights will come over, the orbs of light will come over and deal with it for you. So head up a little bit and let them clear that path so we can head left further. And then we're coming up to our first collectible. What we want to do is interact with this hay bale and push it forward. Head inside here and wait for your alien orb friends to clear these alien structures. So once you drop off this ledge, then you need to run over to the left hand side and avoid the pink purpley light. If you do get caught, you can just simply restart the checkpoint, but when you get here, you just want to head into the tent and let the pink light pass you. You'll come across this crash jet. What we want to do is interact with the light, and we're going to lean it towards the left hand side, and then we're going to hold the left trigger to clear the top of the alien structure first, and then once that's cleared, we can lean it over to the right and then clear the rest. Once it's all cleared, we can head on through. Now we're coming up to a second collectible. What we want to do is head up and underneath this broken down tree, and then you'll find some more of our alien orb friends. Just run around with them just so they sort of interact and head off, and that'll be collectible number 2. Head up onto this dock and over to the left hand side. We're going to interact with the life buoy and pull it towards us. And this will bring the boat over. We're going to head off the dock, interact with the boat from the side and pull it to the left hand side. This will shield us from being spotted. So we have a little puzzle here. What we want to do is head to the well, and we're going to push the lever away from us to bring the bucket up. We're going to interact with the bucket and place it into the blue alien liquid. We basically want to get some liquid into the bucket and use the well to bring the bucket back to us. And hopefully our alien friends will follow the bucket and clear the path next to the well. Now, there is a bit of trial and error here. I believe I pulled it too quickly the first time. The second time I managed to get one of the alien orbs to follow, and that's all you need. So once you have those alien orbs clear that path for you, head on through. Pull this pallet over to the right hand side. And then you're coming up to a missable achievement. What we want to do is head over to this bench and sit down on it. I don't think you have to interact. I think it does it automatically. And then just stay on that bench until you get the Weary Traveller achievement for 50 gamer score. And that'll just be for taking a short rest. So we're going to interact with this car and pull it down so we can head on top of that and head on over. There's going to be this camper van blocking our path as well. We just need to interact with the door and push that over to the right hand side to head on through it. So here is another missable achievement. Once you drop down here and cross the puddle, we want to head back over to the right hand side. And what we'll do is we'll get the Here Boy achievement for 50 gamer score. And this is because our dog friend obviously can't make that drop down, so he's taking the long way round. Once you come to this section, you'll see a red car in the background. We want to head over to that, interact with the boot and open it for our third alien orb collectible. Here then, interact with the electrical box at the base of the lamppost, hold the A button on it and the left trigger to clear that path, and then head over to the left hand side, hide in this tent temporarily until that light passes to save us from being spotted. Another little puzzle for us here then, interact with this light and head towards the screen to loosen it, and then we're going to head around the back of the table and use the left trigger to loosen the light further. We should have enough slack in the wire now to clear the alien debris over the left hand side. Once you've cleared that, we can let go of this light and grab this one here instead. We're going to use this one to clear the path above from us, and then up here we're going to pull this lever towards the left hand side to lower the path, and then we're going to head back across the new path that we've just created with the light. We now have enough slack to clear this path to the left hand side, and then once that's clear we can head over the car. Here then we want to interact with the generator and pull this a few times until it turns green. You will also see a light appear in the tent to our right. So we want to interact with that light in the tent, which I believe are some jump cables. We want to attach those to the car battery. Once you've done that, we want to interact with the generator again. We're going to hold the left trigger to use the car headlights to clear the path. Another section where we need to avoid being spotted then, we want to head into the water and progress through by hugging the wall. Once you've got past that, we want to head over the car. And then we're going to have to quickly go into the portaloo to avoid being spotted again. And if we stay in this portaloo, we will also get this Stuck on the John achievement for 50 gamer score. If it doesn't pop, you can also close the door by pulling it towards you, but I don't think that's required. Just stay in that portaloo until that achievement pops. Once you come to this section, there'll be another collectible for us. We want to move this pallet over to the right hand side. Inside is another alien orb. Just run around this section and that'll be collectible number 4. And then here then, just pull the dumpster over to the right hand side to clear that path. Inside the marquee then, we want to avoid being spotted again. We're going to use the debris on the right hand side to progress on. And we're just going to move to the next debris when they are looking in the other direction. Exiting the marquee then, we want to use the shadows from the umbrellas to avoid being spotted. And then after you get to the second one, we want to head to the left to this generator. And we're going to use the generator to lower the shutters inside the building. And then once you've done that, we can head on through. And then wait here a moment for the light to pass. And then we can grab and move the dumpster over to the right hand side and head on through there. Here then, grab the end of the pole and hold the left trigger to clear the alien debris above us. And then what we want to do is wrap it around the palm tree, and that will allow the lights to get a little bit higher to clear more of the debris. We're coming up to another missable achievement. If we climb up this ladder, and then we're going to interact with the light above, stay holding it and then hold the left trigger, and then that will get us the kind of blue achievement for lighting up the stage. Once you have slid down here then, instead of going right, head to the left and open up this portaloo, and you'll find your 5th alien orb. Once you get to the stage then, we want to interact with the electrical box and hold the left trigger to melt part of this structure, and then that will free this plug. So we're going to grab that plug and attach it to this camera in the middle, and then we're going to drag the camera over to the left hand side until you see the light on the TV. So we're going to hold the left trigger to clear the debris blocking the stage, and then heading onto the stage then, near the door behind the drums is a lever. We're going to pull this towards us to open the door. And then once you've done that, we're going to head inside to find another plug. Take this plug back, and then we're going to power the lift on the right hand side of the stage. So head onto the lift and pull the lever down. And then once we're up here, we're going to make our way around. We're going to drop down onto this UFO light and interact with each lever to release the UFO. After interacting with the third, it will be released. We then want to grab the plug from the unit that powered the lift and attach it to the UFO. The UFO will then become illuminated. We're going to jump inside, grab the handle, and push it forwards. Once you've crashed the UFO, head towards the screen. We just need to avoid that light to being spotted. And heading over the left-hand side again, just keep running. And then we'll get a small cutscene there, but we're going to carry on running to the left-hand side. And then we can attempt to lift this gate, and we'll get a new friend to lift it for us. After following along then, you will come across this section. We need to remove the debris from our new friend. And then once we've done that, we're going to interact with him and we'll get a small cutscene. So after that cutscene, we'll get a new ability. This allows us to solidify the blue liquid, which we will need to progress on. So similar to our first ability, we need a light source to be able to use this new ability. What we're going to do is head over to the right hand side, pull this plank of wood towards us to release some flares, pick up one of the flares, and we want to hold down the right trigger for a short duration and then release it, and that will turn the blue liquid into a solid. So slightly different from our first ability, as we just need to hold the left trigger to melt the red alien debris. This right trigger we need to essentially charge and fire it. So use the new ability to head up the slope, turning the liquid into a solid. And then when you get to this section, we want to solidify the area on the right hand side so we can use that as a ladder. Here then, when you jump off this rock and into the water, we can hold the left trigger to melt a pathway. For some reason I think I got stuck on something there, so I just went up to take some air. So clear this path, and then we're going to head to the left hand side. Here I'm just going to get some air before proceeding on. Again, still holding that left trigger to clear any debris that we need. And then when you get here, we can head up out the water to the left. Here then, we need to create a path for ourselves. So head into the water over to the right hand side and hold the left trigger to melt some of this debris. The debris will kind of fill the puddle, and then we're going to solidify it. So keep melting this until there's enough liquid in the water. That should be enough now. We're essentially, you can see the ladder to the left hand side there. So head up here, we're going to use the right trigger abilities to solidify that. Then we can head on. Heading into this mine, if you look for the first opening away from the screen and then head left, you will find your 6th alien orb. I hope you guys managed to follow that okay. Once you get here, head over to the right hand side, pull this plank and pull the minecart from within it. And then we're going to head round the back of it and push it off of this ledge. That will clear a path for us, and then we can dive down into the water as well. Here then, head to this lever and push it away from us to lower this lift. And then we want to hold the left trigger to melt the alien debris. And then we're going to solidify it. So instead of taking it up here, we need to hold the right trigger and then let go. Obviously when the lift is in the puddle. So like so. And then we can bring it back up, and this is essentially creating a platform for us. When you get to this section, then interact with the crate and pick up the flare. We're going to hold the left trigger to melt some alien debris and raise the water level. So just keep moving left to right to melt the debris. And then we'll get to a section where there are some rocks sort of held by some planks of wood. These will fall, and we will need to take cover under the left-hand wall. So as soon as you hear the planks of wood make a breaking sound for the second time, we need to head underwater and under that wall. So once you get to the top, before heading over to the left-hand side, we want to solidify the water, and then head over to the right hand side and we'll find alien orb number 7. So there's a little pathway behind this rock. And then here he is then. So make sure he sort of heads away. And that'll be number 7. And solidify this so it creates a ladder for us. So for this puzzle then, we want to pull the switch to turn the lights on and then head left. Head across this water and then up this ladder. We're going to interact with this generator to turn the light on. We need to pull the plank of wood to the right hand side first to let the light through there. And then we're going to melt that debris. So head down the ladder. Over to the right hand side. That has released this minecart, so we're going to pull this over to the right hand side. And we need to place it under this alien liquid to collect some of that. Once we've collected enough, we're going to move it back. And then place it underneath this electrical wire. We're going to use this lever to lower that electrical wire into the minecart. And then we're going to use the light switch and hold the right trigger to solidify it. And then move it over to the right hand side and that will lift the door. So we can head on through there. And then just before heading up that ladder on the left, if you go past it, you'll find another alien orb for us to collect. That will be 8 of 10. Few things to do here then. We want to turn this switch on to turn the lights on. Head up here, we're going to pull this lever to rotate the minecart track, and then we're going to hit this button to open the gate. Pull the minecart into the minecart track, and then use the lever again to rotate it, and then we can push that to the left hand side. Now we can head up the stairs and use the minecart to get through this little cubby hole, and then we're going to press the switch to open the gates. Pull the minecart out, but before we go over the hill, we need to head down the hill. There's another lever here for us to change the track. And then we're going to push the minecart from the back down the hill. We need to get enough momentum from the cart to break the gates. And then we can carry on through. Pull the lever here again to rotate the minecart track and then push it. And then we need to avoid being detected. So we're going to drag the minecart from the side. And then we want to align it with the ladder below us. And then wait for the light to look to the right and then head down the ladder. And then for this one, we're going to head up halfway of the ladder. And then we're going to wait for the left-hand light to look right. And then we're going to make a sprint for that lever there. We're going to pull that. That will rotate the track. And then we want to wait for the light again to look to the right, and then we can head back down the ladder. So we should be safe here. We could wait for the light to go to the right hand side and then up, but it looks like we were safe. So we're going to drag the Minecraft all the way over to the left hand side. And then get behind the minecart to push it down the hill, and that other light will follow it. So as soon as that light is following it, we want to head down after it, and we're going to hug the right side of the wall here, as we need to hide behind this block to avoid detection. And then when the light is looking down, we can quickly head over to the left hand side and pull this lever, And then what we want to do for this one to take care of this enemy is we want to hold the right trigger to solidify and freeze the enemy. So hold that right trigger and then let go to freeze him, and then we're going to head on. Here then, press the button to call the lift. Head inside and press the button. Another section where we just want to avoid being hit, so we're going to run up this slope, open this car door to head through that, and then keep heading to the left. We can just jump off here, and then there'll be a bit of a cutscene. After that cutscene, you will end up here. And luckily, we have arrived outside a safe house. Once you get here, instead of turning right, we're going to move this supply trolley out of the way, and in the left-hand side, we can press the A button to whack this box off of this alien orb and get our 9th collectible. So we are now reunited with our family. I hope all that was self-explanatory. What we want to do is hold the A button here to open the lift. Our wife will help us open the door. Interact with the shelving unit and hold right, and our wife will also help us move that. You'll want to do the same here. So now our wife has a light source with her. We can use the light source by holding her hand with the A button and then using our ability. So instead of stroking the dog, hold your wife's hand, and then we're going to hold the left trigger to clear the path. And then once we've cleared the path, we can open the door. So head through this alleyway and hold left trigger to clear any paths, and then you'll come across this truck. If we hug the right side of the wall, we want to clear some paths. We are coming up to our last alien orb. So clear this path here, and there'll be a doorway. So open up this door. Head inside and you'll get your first contact for a whopping 200 gamer score. So here then, wait for your wife, hold her hand and hold the left trigger to clear the debris around this bus. This will reveal a jack. Use the jack approximately 5 or 6 times until the bus no longer goes up. And then we can head through the wheel arch, so crawl through there. And then we're going to head onto the bus. And then to the back of the bus. Pull this handle and that will open the back doors to allow our wife and dog to come through. Here we need help moving this shelving unit again. Hold a wife's hand and hold the left trigger to melt this debris and fill the hole. And then we can use our right trigger ability to solidify that and get across. When you get into this clothing store, we need to avoid these mannequins and head out back. So just follow along and take the path that I take. It really feels like we're playing A Quiet Place now. We've got another running section, so just follow the path that I take. Don't worry about your wife. If you get ahead of her, she can't get hurt. Grab a hold of this book trolley, pull it towards you, and then push it towards the glass so it's got enough momentum to break it. Inside the church then, interact with this bookshelf and move it over to the right hand side. And then when you're up here, then go over to the left-hand side to avoid the light. So after those cutscenes then, and unfortunately our wife not making it with us, we'll get taken to this facility where we need to do some trials. So we'll wake up in this pod. When you leave the pod, we need to walk to the beam of light. There'll be one onto the right hand side. And then we just need to walk into all of these and turn them green. And then head over to the left hand side. This one we need to interact with the switch and hold the left trigger to clear the path in the middle. Then over to the right hand side. And then for this one, we're going to hold the left trigger to clear the debris. And then once we get all of the debris gone to this section, we need to be quick and hold the right trigger and then let it go to solidify it to stop it growing back. And then head back and interact with our pod. And when you get taken up to this section, we need to hold down the corresponding button with what's on screen. So when the left is illuminated, we need to hold down the left trigger. When the right is illuminated, we need to hold down the right trigger. And when the middle is illuminated, we need to hold both left and right trigger. And unfortunately, we do have to repeat this quite a few times to progress. So after quite a lengthy cutscene, you'll be brought back to your house with your family on the sofa, and we want to head over to the right hand side into the kitchen, and we're going to go fetch the dog food from the basement. So pick up the dog food, head back upstairs, and then we're going to head to the left hand side, outside the front door. And instead, it's fireworks, not a UFO. So we'll have a bit of a cutscene here. After that cutscene, we want to head back inside. And you guessed it, we're going to go back into the basement. And we're going to interact with our friend again. So heading over to the right hand side, we're moving this plank of wood again, interacting with the light and holding the left trigger to melt a new path under the house. So head through here. And you'll want to head to this large orb structure. And then when you land in the water, obviously just follow the path. You'll want to take a breather here. And then over to the right hand side again, we're moving this debris and interacting with our friend. And doing what we did before, we're going to grab a flare. And instead hold the left trigger to find a new path. We need to use our right trigger charge ability to solidify a ramp for us to walk up. And then carry on holding left trigger to get through these paths. And then as soon as the pathway opens up, we want to stop holding left trigger. We're going to have one of our first endings here. We don't want to press left trigger or right trigger. We don't want to press anything. We are just going to walk up here to our wife on the sofa. He'll drop the flare, sit next to her, and then you'll get the resignation achievement for 50 gamer score. So you'll get that achievement as soon as the cutscene ends, and then you get brought back to the section with the flare. So pick up the flare, and we're going to head back through the path. And then when you get here, we're going to hold left trigger to carry on this time. Once you do get to this orb structure, you'll want to interact with a sort of socket on the right hand side. And then we want to hold the left trigger within this sort of memory capsule. When we land into the water, we want to head up and to the right. We're going to follow our child here and pick up his toy, and then we need to use our right trigger ability to freeze these cars to stop us getting hit. And then melt your way across this crash barrier. I have made an obvious cut here as I did die. For the second road, you can freeze the last car and avoid those first two, and then you want to melt your way through that path. And then for this road, we want to use the right trigger ability to freeze the truck just when he meets the edge of that path on the right hand side. And then we can melt away the truck. Use your right trigger ability to make a path here, and then left trigger again to melt our way through. Similar thing with this orb structure then, the socket onto the left hand side, interact with that, and then we're going to hold the left trigger, and then a socket will appear on the right hand side, we want to interact with that, and then we're going to hold the left trigger again to melt some stuff in this memory. In some water again, we're going to head up and to the right. Once you get to the jet, head over to the right hand side to meet our friends. will eventually be presented with a hand, so interact with that. With the A button. And then we'll get taken here. So that orb structure has been destroyed. We're going to head to this next one and interact with the socket onto the right hand side. And then this time we want to hold the left trigger until we find the orb at the bottom. And then as soon as you see that orb at the bottom in the memory, you want to hold left trigger and right trigger, and that will destroy the orb structure. Same thing with this one then, interact with the socket. We're going to hold the left trigger, and as soon as we see that orb in the ground, we're going to hold left trigger and right trigger. And that's that orb destroyed. And then we have to do something slightly different in this one. So interact with the socket, and then we're going to use our right trigger ability here. So you saw that lamppost. What we need to do is time it when the kid on the bike is directly underneath the light. So let go of that, and then once he's on the floor, we can hold the left trigger to melt the floor, and then we need to do the left trigger and right trigger for that orb to destroy the structure. You will get teleported here, so you want to hold the left trigger to proceed on, and then there'll just be some paths that we need to climb up. So when you get to this section, we'll be doing our 4 endings. What we want to do first is if you hold hands with everyone with the A button, and then we want to hold the left trigger and the right trigger at the same time, and that will get us the War of the Worlds achievement for 100 gamer score. You'll then be presented with the credits. We can pause the game here, exit to the main menu, and then we can simply click continue to get the other endings. So now we need to press our triggers in a particular order in response to the aliens. I have placed on screen what you need to press: L for left trigger, R for right trigger, and B for both triggers. So for the first sequence, we just need to copy the alien's response. So hold hands with everyone with the A button, and we're going to press left trigger, right trigger, left trigger. So here then we just need to copy their response, which is left trigger, right trigger. And then just keep repeating that combination, left, left, right, until your house appears in front of you. Once the house has appeared, you can let go of everyone's hands and head towards it. Once you head inside and a bit of a cutscene, you'll get the Resignation Reprise achievement for 100 gamer score. Like we did before then, we want to copy their first response, which is left trigger, right trigger, left trigger. And then wait for them to respond before you input the next. For this one, we're going to copy them again, which is left trigger, right trigger. And then the last sequence for this achievement is going to be a left trigger, left trigger, left trigger. After inputting that sequence, a sphere will appear in front of us. We want to head towards that, interact with the socket onto the left-hand side, and hold left trigger. And then once that's gone, we want to interact with the socket on the right-hand side. And then we're going to hold the right trigger. And then the last socket then, you guessed it, we're going to hold both triggers. And then after that cutscene, that'll be the family first achievement for 100 gamer score. Our final ending then, like always, we're going to copy their first response, which is left trigger, right trigger, left trigger. The second sequence is going to be left trigger, left trigger, left trigger, both triggers, both triggers, both triggers. And then the third sequence is going to be left trigger, left trigger, left trigger, right trigger, both triggers, both triggers. And then the final sequence is going to be left trigger, left trigger, left trigger, right trigger, both triggers, both triggers, right trigger, right trigger, right trigger. After that, head towards your Famalam, shout out to Jim and Pam. After that cutscene, head through the door behind you, and you'll get your last achievement, Understanding, for 200 gamer score. Now, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't overly into this game, but don't get me wrong, it was a beautiful looking game. I particularly loved the opening cinematic, it just wasn't really for me. Anyway, guys, you have been absolute legends and have got me to 1,500 subscribers. Thank you so much. You've been leaving such nice comments as well. If you could keep up the subs and help me get to 2K, that would be awesome. And I'll keep dropping vids like this. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.